A pleasant afternoon as we are coming to you from the Rizal Memorial Stadium. We've got the big guns of Kaya squaring off with the youngsters of ADT. Will the youngsters mess the party, or who knows if Kaya will continue to stay on track to hopefully pick up the start for the AFC Champions League and of course, the elusive PFL title. And you are catching this game on the YouTube and Facebook pages of the Philippines Football League, brought to you by Qatar Airways. And what a match, Levi Verora. So much in store right here. We take a look at the standings.
Well, obviously, Kaya FC Iloilo, they are still coming into this match on top of the league table, 13 wins, as you can see, 59 points overall, still keeping an 8-point gap against Dynamic Herb Cebu FC, the second running Dynamic Herb Cebu, and the Azkals development team, slowly but surely rising in the league table. They're now at number 3. And as you can see, it's not much of a gap between Dynamic Herb and the Azkals development team in Stallion Laguna. The first two matches that have finished between Kaya and ADT, both close results, only 1-0 for Kaya in both instances. So I believe Clarence again going to be that challenge for the league leaders.
And for Kaya, should they be able to pick up a win, they will solidify again their title hopes and hopefully make it to the AFC Champions League. A draw or a loss for them will not be as fatal as we currently speak, but their cushion will shrink a bit. For ADT, though, if we jump ship, if we take a look at that, they will get closer to Cebu in the tally should they manage to pick up their 3 points. But should they get a draw or a loss, similarly, they have that cushion also to Stallion Laguna FC. But you do not want to have your counterparts breathing down your neck. And also, as we carry on, this is Clara Manzano on call for this match alongside Levi Verora. And do not forget to give us a follow on social media at WeArePFL. Nandun po tayo sa Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Sa Facebook naman, search up Philippines Football League. And we carry on. We look at the starting lineup for both teams. Kaya, they are lining up in that 4-1-4-1 formation. And how do you see this, Levi?
Well, obviously, ever since the second half of the league started, obviously, itong Kaya, they've been more offensive-minded. And as you can see now, Harvey Gayoso also starting to fortify yung kanilang harapan. And something Yu Hoshide has been tinkering around with. And we can expect a lot of offense for them with sa bandang likuran.
Because mind you, Kaya, from my count, they are yet to concede in the last 270 minutes of play. That is 3 games, and they've racked up a total of 13 points already for the Yu Hoshide squad. And we look at the guys to look out for. We've got Dylan Nobiraki for Kaya. He has 2 goals to his name already. He will be that man in the middle for them. And tell us more, Levi.
Well, itong si Dylan Nobiraki, a mid-season acquisition by Kaya FC Iloilo. Coach Yu Hoshide actually knows his coach doon sa Japan in his university, and making that connection, making a few calls, obviously, and now they are together under one team, and Dylan Nobiraki making his presence felt, instant impact, of course, from his position, starting as from the midfield. But definitely someone who can attack forward and make it difficult for the opponents.
So kita naman natin may Japanese influence talaga yung Kaya FC Iloilo. Nandun si Coach Yu Hoshide, nandun yung Horikoshi brothers, mind you. And back in the day, they also used to have a great number of Japanese players themselves who have suited up for their squad. And we can't wait to see what is in store, because Nobiraki hails from Niigata University of Health and Welfare, just to add. But we look at the ADT, that road to preparing for the upcoming Southeast Asian Games late about a few months from now continues. They are emphasizing the 3-4-3 formation and trying to get that chemistry going. And what do you see in this roster of theirs, Levi?
Well, you said it, Claro. Just less than 2 months actually before the start of the Southeast Asian Games in Cambodia, and ang nakikita natin sa ADT is that they're really starting yung kanilang power 11 perhaps, and makikita natin that this is the roster that they want to experiment with in terms of just forming even better chemistry, because it's the long road for them. They're participating in the PFL, but also they want to have a great showing those Southeast Asian Games, and individually for these players, whatever comes next for them.
And we assess ADT, of course. Stefan Schock is also very involved in that squad of theirs. When we take a look at it, he has a lot of influence, but when we take a look at the guys to look out for, or if we zoom in, we've got Gavin Wentz. He actually used to play for the FC Schalke Academy himself, and he is a commit to playing Division 1 soccer, ang tawag nila doon in the USA, in the University of Washington. So let's see how he'll be able to get them going on all cylinders. Because mind you, when we were looking at the players to look out for, pareha sila doon nasa gitna, nasa center ng midfield. Because if you want the likes of Dennis Chung to score and Andres Aldeguer, you have to get your central midfield going. At pwede rin natin yan sabihin para sa Kaya FC Iloilo earlier when we were emphasizing Dylan Nobe Raki. And one thing also though, we did look who's the guy to look out for in the ADT, but all of these players, sabi natin, mga standouts sila ng youth national team program. So they have every right to be here also. And let's not forget about them, because this is the incubator again of giving players professional experience when it's time to head to their respective national team tournaments. We had that U19 tournament also. At sabi ni Coach Stefan Schrack, the PFL boys, yung naglalaro sa ADT especially, were very sharp in that tournament. You had the likes of Jaime Rosquillo. I think Kaj Amirul also sumali doon sa mga recent tournaments. But unfortunately, wala siya rito ngayon. I think sabi ni Coach Arvin, may shoulder injury siya that he picked up against Cebu FC. That was also a crucial matchup. But ako personally, I'd like to see how the 3-4-3 will continue to shape up. And don't you forget that we are close to kickoff between the ADT and Kaya FC Iloilo, but we will be back after a short break. Close to wrapping up our pre-match protocol right here as kickoff is imminent between the Azkals development team and Kaya FC Iloilo. And we take a look at our match officials for this affair. Meliton Pelayo is our lead referee. KB Nanyola at si Ryan Flores ay ang assistant referees o linesmen. Rodney Labla is the fourth official. Gerardo Andres, the referee assessor, and Ira Ilan, the match commissioner. Quincy Camrad will be the skipper for the ADT. And we've got Zach Banzon from the looks of it, who is the man with the captain's armband. And when we just mentioned that, this is a testament to the depth of the goalkeepers of Kaya FC Iloilo because Quincy is actually on loan, Levi, with the ADT.
Absolutely, Quincy Camarad, after that transfer window, they just decided, okay, sige, you can play for the ADT first, give them some of that leadership and depth as well. And speaking of goalkeepers, we might see him in this afternoon. Yung kanilang bagong recruit, it's Dimitri Makapagkal for the Azkals development team. He is 19 years old, played in the Greek league, and now he is in the Philippines. He is lined up as part of the substitutes. So it will be interesting to see if he will be one of the 5 substitutes to be used. As we have just a few more minutes before kick-off, Claro. Kaya FC, they're not taking their chances here. As we saw the starting 11, this is it. They're going aggressive from the start.
And again, we have Dylan Obiraki pictured. He'll be that man in the midfield for them. That will be the test, we could say, dito para kay Gavin Buens at ang kanyang partner sa center mid, si Justin Frias. So, before we get over to SEA Games, first you have to deal with the big guns in Kaya FC Iloilo. Sila yung mga kuya dito sa ating liga. As we are wrapping up those huddles again, and when you talk about yung leadership ni Quincy Camarad, he did say he likes what he's seeing in training. And I got to ask him, how's it like being the kuya dito sa team ngayon? Pero nag-emphasize, at the end of the day, si Stefan Schrack daw ay ang kuya in the Azkals development team, although he has been very experienced already here. As we are off, Milad Begandom kick this one off. Kaya quickly yielding possession, though. They are playing from right to left. They are in their all-black kits. Now Biraki got it. Kaya aggressive from the get-go. The low cross from Casambre. Frias got his boot to it. So corner kick number 1 of this game. Kitang-kita doon yung intentions.
Right off the bat, like what I mentioned, Claro, Kaya, they will not take their chances. They won't be satisfied splitting the points here at all. They want the full 3 points. Early first corner for them.
So here we go. It is Daizo Horikoshi who will send this in. It will be an in-swinger. He'll be taking it from the looks of it with his right boot. And there you go. Couldn't see some loose handles, but he managed to get it. The quick intention, though. Mukhang may konting gulo dyan, but no call by the referee.
Too much traffic doon sa goal area ni Quincy. He is just fortunate that there was no further trouble. And now looks like ADT will restart their offensive here.
Because if Kaya managed to get that, they'll have a scoring opportunity on the silver platter at disgrasya yun if you are the ADT.
And if you're Quincy, you have to look left and right for now bago mo ibigay dun sa yung mga kakampi from the back line.
Daizo plays it through. Camarad off his line and clears it. Nobiraki gets it up against Aldeguer. Begandom, no stranger to the circuit. He used to play for Global FC back in the day. So now out on the further end, Kaya working their way through the right. Eric Giganto, the low cross. But according to our linesman, it came off an ADT defender. So corner kick number 2 dito para sa Kaya Iloilo. It will be on the right wing for them.
3 minutes in, and as we saw, 2 corner kicks already conceded by the ADT. Tremendous pressure by Kaya. And this is Janjan Melisa who will deliver this one.
Here we go, going for the further post. The header, no good. It looks like it was taken by Mardiano. So some warning shots already. So we take a look at how that went on.
As we can see, perhaps too much power doon sa spin ng bola. Diano had the right intention to head it back home. Made contact with the ball, but ultimately wasn't able to cut the ball the proper way. Nevertheless, again, encouraging signs for Kaya early on.
So we got to talk to Coach Arvin Soliman also in this game, and he did say nandun yung performance nila versus Cebu FC, the number 2 team so far in this league. And parang may malas lang dun kaya nag-concede sila ng mga goals, but encouraging signs at the end of the day. Rota tried to send that forward but it went straight to Grog. There were no ill intentions at all. Wrong place, wrong time lang dito.
Absolutely, and you saw how shaken up he was from that play. And again, you mentioned we spoke with Coach Arvin Soliman from the ADT side as we see the replay. Natamaan lang again. No bad intentions on the part of the veteran Simone Rota.
Yung kailangan lang doon ni-reset ata yung hairstyle ni Patrick Grog.
Absolutely. And another man down, this time from the Kaya side. Again, you mentioned they're wearing all black. I believe that was Eric Giganto.
That's right. He got into a collision with their center back in Barsanilla. So si Barsanilla ulit si Barsanilla ang center back of ADT in this game because wala si Kaj Amirul. Coach Arvin did say Amirul picked up an injury up against Cebu. It was the left shoulder, so he is rested today. The bright side we can say is he does not have a sling. He looked well. So it looks like it's more of a precaution that he is being arrested. So here's the service from Eliza off the crossbar. A chance though, but it is no good. Yano came close with that second serving.
I wonder what Quincy Camarad was doing that time. A little too relaxed.
From the looks of it, that was just inches off. So pushed over to the left for the ADT. Aldeguer. Bias. Bias had his stint in the Thai League in the latter half of the 2022 calendar year. I had to double check if he is eligible for the SEA Games because Bias has been around the Philippine setup for quite some time and we can include the senior team.
Well, we know what he is capable of. Itong si Oliver Bias.
No doubt, he is one of the veterans in that team. Kasama doon, of course, with the likes of Quincy Camarad, as we mentioned already earlier. But there's also Yerick Galiantes, as he sent that to Muens. Frias. So some pressure now from Iloilo. So far, so good for ADT in terms of that composure on the ball. They're able to keep it down. Now working their way up. Saut. He is playing as a center back dun sa 3-4-3 formation nila. Because he was more, I believe, in that midfield when they were playing the 4-2-3-1 in the first half of this 2022-23 season. Rota, age 38, but showing no signs of slowing down whatsoever.
The ageless Simone Rota. But I like what you mentioned about the ADT. They're very versatile with their positions. You know, the likes of Pocholo Bugas and, well, of course, Sandro Reyes, not part of the ADT or the Azkals right now because of his engagement overseas. But yun ang gusto mong makita for them because you have to be versatile with these positions.
Nobiraki gets it in the box, came close to connecting with Daizo inside the goalkeeper area, and it is corner kick number 3 already.
We'll see that on the replay. A bit of space there, and then Daizo, wala na magagawa doon si Frias, kundi a clearance. However it goes, or it translates to another corner for Kaya.
Of course, you'd rather give up a corner rather than just giving a clean shot on goal. So unable to secure if you're ADT, they eventually clear it. Rota tried to connect with Daizo, but that ball was overcooked. And Daizo, of course, 11 goals to his name already. Right intentions, of course, if you're Simone Rota. Kulang lang siguro yung execution.
And not only that, Daizo also the leading assists man with 12, just dishing out to his teammates. If you're the ADT right now, that back line, it's quite a mess. You have to be more compact than that, have to be more attentive, as there's just lots of pressure coming from Kaya.
So here we go. Kaya trying to apply the pressure on that back line. If ADT has had possession, but it's been at the back, we could say. Earlier we could say, oh, nandun yung composure and they were able to deal with it. But after some time settling into this game, nonetheless you expect to get forward. Let's see how they'll be able to do that.
Well, that's the challenge, of course. Building from the back, just stringing together a couple of passes, involving your midfield, and then somehow, just making it work and creating chances doon sa inyong attacking third. So, again, it's really a matter of collective effort here for ADT.
BS cutting in, switching it up. Bugas contra Casambre, cuts it back, the shot, and that's the opener! What a finish from Andres Aldeguer, the youngster. Great stuff, and they're on the scoreboard.
10 minutes into this match, the cutback by Pocholo Bugas sets up beautifully itong si Andres Aldeguer. We'll see that on the replay once again, Claro. The cross and then Casambre, a bit late on the recovery. All sorts of space to work with for Andres Aldeguer. What a finish, what a start for ADT.
That killer instinct is in the blood of the Aldeguer family. Andres Aldeguer, his father, a former pro player, but he's taking his talents, of course, to football. And I believe that is goal number 2 for him in this campaign. We'll need to double check that. This goal, no surprise, because Aldeguer has often been that man up front for them. And it was against the veteran in Simone Rota. And it's back with the Azkals development team. So an early goal. How do you see this, of course, if you were Kaya in this situation?
Well, just when we were talking about how Kaya, created 3 corners from themselves, suddenly, lumipat tayo sa kabila doon sa attacking third. Just a minor lapse on the part of the defense of Kaya, and that's the difference between a draw and now a 1-0 scoreline thus far. We know Kaya's character. They will bounce back from that for sure.
So it's that game, of course, of mini battles or fine margins, we can say. Daiso took a fall while trying to secure, but Saud Saud's loose handles yielded the ball back to Kaya. Casambre pushed that back to Simone Rota. Noberaki trying to play Giganto. And from the looks of it, Kaya are also playing against the sun. So that can be quite a disadvantage at this point in time. But of course, later on, we'll be swapping sides or swapping goals. But by then, perhaps, the sun could already be down. Muens. Saud. Bugas. Put it back to Saud. Camarad. He's been a bit shaky to start off this game, but thankfully his team's gotten him covered. Frias pushed it over to the further end. Connecting with Bias. Sila yung mga kuya dito sa ADT. Bias! Bias! Well done by the Kaya back line.
That was Odi Menzi, just calm and collected. Just keeping that composure. Hindi nagpadala dito kay Bias.
Now it is with Gayoso. Trying to work himself through, but Levy looks like you were signaling. There's the forearm or the elbow.
Yeah, perhaps ever so slightly, a slight shove from Gayoso to create a bit of space. That's testament to the good defending from ADT that time around.
Okay, so Harvey Gayoso will be the man up front for Kaya. in this match. We were talking about the players to look out for earlier. There's Muentz for the ADT. There's Nobiraki for Kaya. And a chance taken sailing just over the bar. That was the high press we were talking about from Kaya. Melissa saw the opportunity, took advantage, but just the finish letting him down by a bit.
Perhaps during that situation, you would have wanted a second touch just for the control on the first. But look at that high press. This is where Kaya can get very dangerous. Just taking advantage of those errant passes. You have to be pinpoint with your accuracy. As we see, dispossessing again is Kaya.
Melissa trying to make amends. Galiantes, now it's with Bias. Galiantes telling them to, tone it down a bit. Let's kill that momentum of Kaya. Now it's back with Quincy. Quincy had to shake off Harvey. So it was given away by the ADT. Again, we are emphasizing, if you want to get Harvey Gayoso going and the offense, you have to get the midfield going. And that is why we were emphasizing Nobiraki earlier. But if it's for ADT, it has to be Gavin Muentz because he's the man, of course, who will connect with the likes of Aldeguer and Bias up front. Melissa in the middle, but this one clearly off the mark for them. But Kaya, you can see them inching closer and closer in this game.
You can see the eagerness from them, Claro, but perhaps yung counting gigil as we will perhaps see on the replay. Melissa ahead of the pack, but I wonder why he's rushing. But knowing Kaya, of course, 16 minutes into this contest, matagal-tagal pa to, they will recover their bearings and slowly string together the perfect play, the perfect combination na hinahanap nila.
So they're disputing over that call. Both sides saying, amin to, but the referee said it's with Kaya. Daiso connecting with Harvey. Unable to connect with Begandom. Rota. They'll try to stretch out that ADT defense. Nobiraki. Begandom. Looks like they'll try to work their way through the middle. Melissa, he's in that center mid role for them in that 4-1-4-1. He was not able to connect with Harvey Gayoso.
Had the right intention in mind once again for Janjan Melissa. You can just see his quickness from his position, as you mentioned, that central midfield role, making the opposing team work. And that's what you want if you're ADT. You want to be challenged by the league leaders, the so-called standard so far sa ating kompetisyon.
So Diano trying to move up. It stays with them. Play now continued. We have that stop and go. ADT delaying the Kaya attack. We were talking about we can say the pedigree of Andres Aldeguer as that man up front or in the middle of the 3-4-3 attack. But when it's Kaya, of course, this time it's Gayoso. So there's also that pedigree we can say of some sorts. Harvey Gayoso, of course, the son of JV, also a pro basketball player, we can say by coincidence. His grandfather, Edo Campo, also a very storied player. This ball taking some air.
And I think ADT's defense have settled now that we've approached our 18th minute.
And
Looks
here
like,
we go.
Yes, a counter.
A breakaway Chong contra Banzon, but gets his body in front of the line. Banzon off his box. ADT were not able to take advantage of that open goal. So it's sent to safety. Gayoso. He's got some decent height too to add to his speed. Daiso contra Frias. Begandom got it. But it was pushed over to the side. Daiso. He's been with Kaya for the past 3 years. The close one there. Looks like it came off Gayoso for a moment, but Camera did enough to change that shot.
Definitely Camera doing his best to bother the line of sight of Gayoso. Perhaps tapped away, but again, just confusing Gayoso's mind for a split second, and that proved to be the difference in that particular play. What a denial by Zach Banson a few sequences earlier. Just cutting the vision of the onrushing striker. That's what you have to do if you're a keeper. You try to rush forward a little bit para lumiit yung angulo nung titira.
In that situation, it went straight to the body. I believe that was the chest of Banzon.
Price for Banzon. And also going out of his area. A risky move sometimes, but calculated very well by the Kaya captain.
So Wentz gets this. They're trying to work their way through traffic. The Melisa probing run. Camarades. So ADT are playing a man down for the moment. They have a player in their technical area. And it looks like he has to change his boots for the moment. And the chance again. Odi. Well, there's a whistle from Meliton Pelayo. And that is a foul in favor of the men in black. That's Kaya FC-Iloilo. Rota. So Kaya getting all of their players in the attacking half. They are exposed at the back. Should there be a counter? Walang offside ng ADT in that case. But they'll try to swarm the youngsters with their numbers.
They're just putting all sorts of pressure now on ADT and see how they react. Fourth corner earned here by Kaya.
Now in contrast also, that's 0 corners for the Azkals development team.
Well, they've gotten their counters, but overall, of course, you have to play make as well. You have to create.
So Daizo drives this in. This one went to the further post. And it's another corner kick that is conceded. Corner after corner. Let's see if this will be able to spell the difference for the visitors.
Well, that time around, Daizo targeting Dylan Nobiraki, but too much power and height doon sa delivery. Luckily for them, they have another one, and looks like Janjan, of course, be the one designated.
Melisa and FEU alumnus. Camera seemed to get his gloves to that first. Aldeguer, being one of the taller players, gets this to Grog. Grog plays it through. Rota repelled that ball forward. So chaos as a result of that set piece. They have not been able to get back in their usual formation. And referring to both teams, Bugas did well to meet that. You love the work rate. He's looking for numbers to join him. Rota got his boot to that and just hit the side netting. Looks like that was a close one for the ADT.
Just another case of not being able to be in your proper spot. Well, good thing for Banzon, that ball just went to the side. There's a near post. Look at the bounce of that ball. You have to play with the conditions you're given. This will be the first corner for ADT. You mentioned the weather, you mentioned the field. Well, you play with a natural turf, an artificial turf. First delivery now for ADT from the corner.
Galiantes put this one into the goalkeeper box. But it's well off Daizo trying to play Melisa. Melisa contra Saut. So Saut put that out for a throw-in. It will go back to the league leaders. And when you talk about Kaya, they also lead the league, of course, in goals forwarded and goals conceded. Goals conceded because they have let in the least amount. We consider the.
And they beat you not just by scoring goals, but also getting stops from the opposite end. As much as possible, they want those clean sheets. That's really the level of play that they want.
So that connection was no good from Giganto to Gayoso. So yeah, they have the best defense and offense. Only conceding 13, scoring a whopping 49, mind you. So should Kaya be able to, pick up a goal in this one? That will be goal number 50 for them this season. Quite a mark if you ask me. But I don't think that's in their agenda in terms of focusing on goal number 50. It's just grab the win. We want our first title when you talk about the PFL specifically. And in turn, if you get that, you get qualification to the AFC Champions League. Rota from Begandom. Casambre through to Gayoso. Gayoso put it into the middle, but it was repelled again by the back line. Barsanilla was positioned well to get that job done. So this roll of the dice will end for Kaya.
Well, Gayoso was trying to leave the ball for, I believe, Melisa that time around. Well, this was on the second ball, Giganto, which was obviously wide to the left.
So Giganto was trying to get into the mix by assisting Gayoso. Other than the Japanese connection or influence here in Kaya, we can say too, they have a great number of players from FEU. Yeah, I think you have Melisa, Giganto, and even Odi Menzi.
Well, FEU is one of the most successful programs in the collegiate ranks in the UAAP. You have produced, countless number of Filipino football players playing at a high level.
Daizo working his way in, the shot taken, but it is picked up by Camarade. Daizo was trying to cut through with that backline in front of him. And just to end that FEU conversation, nandun din si Nano Amita in the bench.
Absolutely.
Of Kaya.
And that time around, Daizo, he just took the matter into his own hands. We've been setting each other up.
But this one was gifted right to the middle. Nobiraki to Gayoso. But it was denied by Barsanilla. Now they will try to get out of their defensive third. That's where you're least comfortable, of course, with your counterparts breathing down your neck. Diano himself, a man who got SEA Games experience, and he played in this very stadium. They look to kill the momentum now, though.
Tremendous recovery by the ADT in those past few moments. We thought that Kaya was going to equalize. They had the upper hand. But ADT, you can see the composure. We spoke with Coach Arvin. He said, ito na yung challenge against Cebu. Although, yes, they conceded that goal from Daniel Gadia. They controlled possession for most of the second half. That's what they're trying to replicate against another league giant.
So this ball ping-ponged around and play is stopped because we have a young Azkal who is down. And it is Justin Frias holding on from what appears to be his right calf. Referee Meliton Pelayo trying to check on him. It looks like the ankle, rather. So again, let's not forget, teams have 5 substitutions each because of the amended laws of the game. And when that was established with overseas leagues throughout the pandemic, it was quite a sight to see. I did not expect to see a development like that myself. And the reason behind that was to, of course, allow players to get more rest, and that was the collision that warranted Frias taking a fall. But Frias is back on his feet and in this game.
That's good to see him comfortable enough. Natisod lang that time around. I like what you said with the substitution rules. A maximum of 3 chances to do those, excluding halftime. So bahala ka na dumiskarte. Maybe you put 1 or 2 substitutes at a time.
The cutback though, but the Daizo-Gayosa connection was repelled. And Daizo just showing that he is a cut above them all. Double team him, not a problem. But Gayoso was covered by Barsanilla.
And from that angle, medyo malalim na rin into that attacking third ng Kaya. They're quite lucky here to be given another corner. They've been actively targeting Gayoso throughout the first half so far.
So they put it in, and looks like that's good. Game on! We are level! And it looks like it is Audi Menzi. And we were talking about it, Levi. Corner after corner, and Kaya get the reward.
Well, knowing Kaya FC Iloilo, they will always find a way to get back and level. Equalizing was Audi Menzi. Of all people, we've been talking about their offensive-minded players, their strikers. But what about the defender, Audi Menzi? Just pokes that ball with his head to the side. And we are level.
Normally in corner kicks, you also bring up your center backs because they have the knack of heading the ball. Yes, if you are ADT, you do have the height. You do not have to worry in that aspect. But when you look at Kaya, of course, they're full ADT playing against full-grown men. These guys have the physique when you refer to Kaya FC Iloilo. Casambre trying to keep it with them despite being on the deck. But may foul daw, sabi ni Militon Pelayo.
Just the creativeness of Casambre to keep the possession in play.
Alam naman natin sa mga sitwasyon na yun, kailangan dumiskarte, as we say.
Of course, for as long as it's a legal move in within football rules, why not?
I think there was that foul as Cameron had to let that go. I think there's a foul. He may have clipped somebody. But we've had a lot of those shaky or heart-stopping moments where you have Kaya close to getting it from ADT. And here we go, Rota. Just stopped that Galiantes foray forward. It's quickly resumed. The look to swing the ball around now. Frias, Barsanilla, Cyron Saud. You often have the Saud brothers, so we have Cyril, who is on the bench for this game. But here we go on the counter. Melissa taking it. Just denied though by Barsanilla. He's been busy, so you need a steady performance from him if you'd like to pick out a result. Bias, now down the left. Contra Diano, trying to work his way through. Aldeguer takes it and just sails over the crossbar.
Could have been a screamer here para dito kay Andres Aldeguer. He was given that space. Just goes above the bar. But you talked about John Mar Barsanilla. He's been all over the place, just making sure these Kaya offenses have been checked. Could have been a different scoreline if it wasn't for him, that's for sure.
Cassandre got that forward. It took a touch from an ADT player as Daiso tried to chase it. Quincy eventually picks this up. Again, Quincy Camrad is playing up against the team, his mother club. He is on loan with the ADT, but he is no stranger to this Azkals development team setup, as that is where he played, in fact, before signing for Kaya Iloilo.
And it could also be an advantage for him because he knows the tendencies of his teammates from the other side, having played with them throughout the first half of this league.
Spot on right there. Chung was in that list of players called up to the senior national team where they will be having a pair of friendlies in West Asia. Cholo Bugas controlled that well, but he's up against Casambre. Saud now to Frias. Diaz. And forward ball. Chung trying to put it in the center of the box. Bugas, but Grog skied this one around. Bugas came close, though, I think, to getting another assist in this game.
Not the finest of touches there for Grog, but I like the unselfishness of Bugas right there. Just setting his teammates up, leaving that ball for them to strike. And again, just a better touch would have sufficed. Would have made it 2-1.
Cholo Bugas has also a an older brother who used to play pro football back in the day, as Gayoso cleverly got this, but this ball is skied.
You know, we have been going back and forth, Claro. Both teams just trying to make the most out of their chances. Pero yun na nga, paminsan-minsan, may halong gigil on the part of them. Also a good test of, mental fortitude, of character for these two clubs.
So here we go once more. No, and mind you again, let's not forget, because of that goal earlier from Odi Wenzi, that's goal number 50 for Kaya already, based on my math, in this season, in the 2022-2023 Philippines Football League.
And of course, we're not done yet. We still have one full round and change dun sa ating 6 teams.
So here we go again. Camrad had to get out some sweeper-keeper action, as expected again with the modern game. Begandom. Kita natin yung pagkamama niya dun up against the youngsters. So about 11 minutes away from getting additional time in the first half. We've got Kaya in the all black. They found the equalizer in this game. They are playing from right to left. The ADT got on the scoreboard first. They're the team in all white. They are playing from left to right. That low cross was no good. They tried to get it again though, but that Giganto ball was stopped. So again, we did mention who equalized for Kaya in Odi Menzi. It was Andres Aldeguer for the Azkals development team, and alongside Levi Verora. This is Caro Manzano on call for this match. Do not forget to give the league a follow on social media at We Are PFL sa Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Paki-search na rin ang Philippines Football League sa Facebook. Huwag niyo po kalimutan. You are catching this on our page and on YouTube. And here we go. The corner sent in. Pero mukhang may foul daw, Levi. Sabi ng ating referee.
Absolutely. Whistle blown there by our main official, Meliton Pelayo. Perhaps someone climbing onto the back of the ADT defender, and they will get possession back.
Climbing over the back of your defender. Mukhang whatever it takes to get an advantage in the corner kick, we could say. That's often the main reason why you have fouls, of course, in set pieces.
Of course. And yung aerial nung bola, of course, you have to meet it first.
And this is the duel that we were emphasizing, Nobiraki contra Gavin Muens. And that was a foul from the Japanese center mid. Ayun, literal ang mating matchup right here. Going toe-to-toe. They were trying to build up from the back in the ADT, but Kaya again, their clear intentions are there. Will put the high press, and if they succeed, they get the ball in the attacking third, potentially leaving Quincy Camrad as his sitting duck.
And one of the main reasons why Kaya is able to carry out this 4-1-4-1 formation is because of their new additions, and one of them, Dylan Nobiraki, of course also Milad, who has good field vision. So foul was whistled there again. But opposite Kaya, of course, ADT, they also have equally eager players who can start a different position but cover a lot of ground doon sa ating field.
Especially, of course, the advantage of youth is that you have that speed. But they gave up a foul right here to the league leaders.
And who else to take this besides the leading assists man in the league so far?
Daiso Horikoshi, his brother also with him in Kaya Iloilo in Tamon. Daiso who used to play in the Singapore Premier League. He's no stranger to ASEAN football, and here comes the service. Quincy reads that well. And he was looking to volley that, but Odi getting in his way.
Better patience on the part of Quincy, who eventually just rolls it to South.
And there is that handball by Begandom. It was ball to hand. I think in that situation, he didn't intend to, of course, swipe the ball.
But look at Kaya, they're just continuing to apply pressure here, testing the maturity of the ADT inside.
So Rota and Aldeguer got into a collision. It was the younger Aldeguer who was holding on to his lower head as they were trying to secure this. And there you go. Looks like there was some extra action that led to that call.
Yeah, just an entanglement in the middle of the field. Nothing too malicious for them. This is interesting for ADT getting more possessions here.
It's through to Grog. Grog thought about cutting back, but there was the gutsy slide from Marco Casambre. Oh, Casambre himself was one of those guys who was part of that U22 squad here in Manila in the Southeast Asian Games. As we take a look at that recent event, so it is a corner for the young Azkals.
Risky challenge there for Casambre.
So this one was taken short. Frias contra Giganto. Tried to take it in. Begandom got his boot to that though.
So now we're seeing the ADT with more chances here. The corner, now a throw in. See how they can build.
Frias. They'll look to reset. Because mainly when we think of it, it's been mainly Kaya in this game. Possession has been with ADT, but it's Kaya dictating the game as this was played through to Bugas. Trying to get it in. Casambre again called to action. The ball taking an awkward bounce. Eric Giganto was last touch to that though. But the miscommunication with Wentz and Cholo Bugas, you want to avoid those unforced errors.
And that will end that brilliant possession for the ADT right there. Such a tremendous through ball to find Bugas earlier and then keeping control of the possession, but on that first touch, sayang yun. Could be a counter here for Kaya.
Space opening up though, but Giganto did not get to connect with Melissa. You could see Daiso's body language say, I'm right here, nandito lang ako sa kaliwa.
And also, of course, we couldn't understand the rush that time around as we enter the 42nd minute mark of the first half. So 3 more minutes and change here. It's a 1-1 showdown so far. This match is living up to its expectations.
Saut working his way up. Bugas, he did play for United City FC in the first half of this league. And here we go, Harvey with space to operate. Thought about sending it to Daiso, but they were not on the same page.
Daiso was rushing forward. Harvey decided to give it a little more backwards on that ball. And of course, the momentum of Daiso's body will not be able to meet that on time.
But Buga storms down the right now, up against Casambre, trying to shake off his man. But it's always going to be a hard one against the age and wisdom of Simone Rotas. Begandom will try to get this out. Kaya not really keen on clearing, but knocking those passes together. Wentz wins this back though. The FC Schalke Academy just wowed us. That was delightful.
Gavin Muens, of course, the goal scorer for ADT against Cebu last weekend, equalizing at that point. Although again, they conceded. It was Daniel Gadia who delivered for Cebu on a 2-1 win. But again, these are the encouraging signs we've been talking about. We are speeding up the progress, the growth of these players, one match at a time.
Aldeguer tried to relay his defenders. Galiantes pushed it out to the further end. Plays it through now. Bias. Bugas. That was always going to be tough with the ball just taking some height.
Well, the ball just bounced too high inside the penalty area. And not even Bugas will be able to control that the first touch. If
So
you're ADT, claro, the through balls have been quite a thing for them, and they should be encouraged by that and keep on playmaking the way they're used to.
So that came off of South. But if you are Kaya, though, they've been winning it in those duels in the attacking end for them.
Well, being the older team, average age-wise, obviously you're more physical, you're more mature, and you know what to do in these testy moments. It's really just a matter of not rushing things.
So Daiso secured that ball from Rota over the top and trying to get past South. Aldeguer, he's dropping down deep to support. Talk about team effort. Cholobugas does well to get out of the tight space, trying to connect with Grog. Menzi got this one. But you see the press this time around from the youngsters. Diano had to clear it. Giganto, though, got his head to it. Got to get it back this time around. Gayoso waiting for options. Nobiraki gifted it though to Aldeguer.
Well, we're entering injury time slowly. I think the ADT realizes that. That's why they're also pressing a little bit, trying to secure a counter before the whistle blows.
Kita natin may konting sense of urgency. You have the break, of course. You can, of course, try to hustle a bit more. So that early cross from Gayoso was stopped by Galiantes. These two guys are also very familiar with each other, as they used to compete in the youth national team, the U22. So 2 minutes of additional time as our fourth official in, Rodney Leble, confirmed to us. Now they'll switch it to Daiso. And given you said he's the leader in assists and goals, potentially a candidate for Golden Ball, the MVP of course in the tournament. Who knows? Let's find out. Trying to play it over the defense, but that is a corner that is gifted by Saut to Kaya Iloilo.
Much has been mentioned about Siron Saut from his position at the back. Just really getting into the path of those balls, intercepting, bothering itong midfield and attackers ng Kaya. What a first half for him.
So Daiso will drive this in. And it stays with Kaya.
When they're taking their time, they know this could be the last possession of the half.
It's about 50 seconds until the second minute of additional time. Nobiraki. Muenz got it though. Aldeguer knew he had a man on. But a close encounter here. That was given back to Quincy, but Gayoso was there and trying to get in the way. But that is a call in favor of Kaya.
And Kaya again has a penchant for making you pay by making those errant passes, not the proper speed. Just those little things, they can make you pay.
And of course, they make you pay right here if they pick up goal number 2.
It goes without saying, you have to play close to a perfect game every time against Kaya.
Quincy off his line though, but no good. For Kaya, they came close. One of those heart-stopping moments, as we were emphasizing in the game.
And Quincy Camerad, perhaps also natamaan din sa daliri niya, but again, just doing enough to bother. It's been an eventful, busy first half dun sa kanyang area. And that's it.
There you go, the final kick of the first half. We are level. It is 1-1. Andres Aldeguer opened the scoring for us, but Odi Menzi of Kaya managed to put them back right where we find ourselves. And we will be back after the halftime break. Don't you forget. See you in a bit, everybody. So we are currently at the halftime break. It is one apiece between the Azkals development team and Kaya FC Iloilo. Again, with how the script went, Andres Aldeguer opened the scoring for us, but Kaya, as potent as they are, got back into it quickly behind Odi Menzies' header. I think that was off another Daiso assist. We'll get to that later on, but what do you think about this game so far, Levi?
It's been quite an interesting battle so far. First 45 minutes and change, as we saw one of the early incursions for Kaya hitting the goal post. And then I believe this was the opening goal. Brilliant cutback by Pacholo Bugas, doing his thing, and then delivering the assist pass to Andres Aldeguer, who you mentioned was the opening goal scorer for this match. Zach Banzon had, pretty much nothing else he could do that time around.
And that was some great stuff, of course, as we talk about it. But Kaya, we could say they were in this one the whole time. We had no doubts, of course, as to their efforts, as this was a chung chance where Banzon literally put his body forward, but chances were aplenty. We had a lot of those close ones right in front of the goal mouth for the ADT. And what's there more to see with Kaya? They've constantly been knocking on the door, as we emphasize.
And talking about Kaya, we've seen the abundance of crosses, those balls just targeting the players inside the penalty box for them. And then, of course, countless corners as well for Kaya. And it was only just a matter of time finally arriving around the 30th minute mark for Odi Menzi.
So Daiso picking up assist number 13. So that's lucky number 13 already, as Kaya also scored their 50th goal in this campaign alone. We were talking about that earlier also, but knowing them, that won't mean a thing without the win. As we take a look at the stats, talk us through this.
Well, possession-wise, I think we've seen how the first half unfolded. Kaya kind of had control early on, first 10 minutes or so, but the Azkals development team slowly and steadily were getting back into their control and were able to create chances for themselves. And perhaps more shots for Kaya on target, a little more, as well as corners. But Azkals development team, again, able to just weather everything, and they will start the second half.
Here we go, we are off. And I think it was just about right, as we wrap up stats, that Kaya got their goal from a corner kick. They have a whopping 8 already. But the ADT are in their all-white. They're playing from right to left currently with the ball. Kaya again, the men in black, they're playing from left to right. They are currently defending and trying to halt this ADT foray as they immediately get this. Sakopon got his first few touches of the game. Bias put this back into the middle. And alongside Levi Verora, this is Claro Manzano on call for this match as we bring you the commentary. And it's now out on the right wing. Bugas contra Daiso. Daiso sent this down the line. Gayoso meets it. Numbers not in his favor though. Let's see how he'll deal with this. He blows past there's camera to beat. And there you have it. Kaya get themselves ahead of the Gayoso counter. 4-on-1, not a problem.
What a run by Harvey Gayoso. Like what you mentioned, the odds were stacked against him. 4 against 1. And the celebration for Kaya FC Iloilo. What a fantastic run and finish for him. Well, we know Harvey, growing out of high school, one of the best sprinters to come out of high school, choosing football as his main sport, flicks one in.
And when you talk about the finish, he placed that just under the crossbar. Great control, great technique, cool, calm, and composed.
Great placement as well, just to evade the outstretched arms of Quincy Camerad.
So with that, Harvey Gayoso Now with 9 goals to his name and is officially number 2 already in the Golden Boot race. He elevates above Arda Chunker of Cebu FC, although he did move back to Turkey over the transfer window. And if we just look at this, of course, with some banter. Next man up for Harvey to beat in this competition of the Golden Boot race, his teammate Daiso Horikoshi.
You can just see the prowess, 1 and 2, both from Kaya FC-Iloilo. Individual scoring ability for both of them. Of course, owing to the fact partly that Arda Chenker and Kennedy Uzoka, or Chima Uzoka, not playing for Cebu anymore. But still, to their credit, Daiso and Harvey, as we see another counter here.
Harvey got it past Quincy, but some shaky moments though from the young Azkals. Galiantes will try to steer themselves out of this. Aldeguer contra Menzi. Menzi still with it. Gives it over to Meliza. Meliza working his way into the middle. Chung tracks down though to support them. Bias. Bias contra Diano. Galiantes up against Giganto. But this will go in favor of the ADT. But what I spent again, we did see some shaky moments from the ADT in the first half, but looks like we're still seeing that a bit coming out of the halftime break. Of course, you do not want to have that if you're Coach Stefan Schrack.
And if you're Kaya, this is a dream start here in the second half. This is exactly the way you want to get things going. And like what you said, those shaky moments are back for ADT. We've seen them compete better towards the latter part of the first half. But again, it seems it's back to the drawing board for them as they relinquish their advantage earlier.
So it looks like those halftime adjustments seeming to do the trick so far for Coach Yu Hoshide. Coach Yu Hoshide, of course, a man himself. He used to play for Global FC back in the United Football League days. Melisa, he was trying to round the likes of Muenz and BS. Kevin Menz will need to set the tone for them. And they'd like to claw back into this. If we look at their form though, in the previous games, Kaya with 3 wins and a loss. As in the games we played this calendar year, given that we are in the second half of games. But it's Giganto trying to set that to Camarade, but that was read well. If you are ADT though, they did pick up a 4-1 win over Maharlika and lost to Cebu. So quite a tough stretch if you ask me. If you are the Azkals development team, you go up against Cebu, they're number 2 of course. That was a tough win. They lost Kaj Amirul unfortunately due to injury. He's not here. And then you play up against the league leaders. Muenz contra Nobiraki. This one though, a close one. Camarade having to get off his line. Gayoso was just a pace off that. Close one.
And again, all sorts of problems here for ADT. They're getting rattled at the moment, and you mentioned the strength of schedule for them. As we see on that replay, Camarade having to work on his skills that time around.
And Quincy had to come off his line because there wasn't enough power in that pass back from Muenz. Galiantes contra Giganto. Sabi nga ni Giganto, may konting may foul doon. May hawak sa t-shirt.
But you love the physicality of the ADT. They're just bringing it to their kuyas right here. It could be a counter as well. I think right flank.
Cholobugas trying to get the engines going for them. Muenson Frias. They switch it up. Olibias. The senior Azkal contra Diano. Menzi. Nobiraki. Giganto threw this one forward. But it's with Gallantes contra Gayoso.
You see the difference between end to end. Doon sa Kaya, they're just rattling the ADT. ADT, they get their attacking third chance, but it's one and done for them.
One observation of mine is Gallantes and Gayoso had quite a collision as they managed to separate themselves. Gayoso, may konting sorry dyan from his hand gesture. So Giganto stopped that. Diano drove this forward. Cameron again off his line. It's been quite busy for him in this game.
We have seen him have the tendency to do that. And, sometimes, they made him pay, particularly in the first half of the season. If you're Quincy, I feel he's learned from that. He knows when to risk it, when to not.
And of course, he'll have to take that leadership role. Giganto. Cameron has had to punch it out. Looks like that was bound for the top corner over at the far post.
Had the chance to catch it with his two hands. Poked it away at the last moment. And like what you said, perhaps, we have to play without the weather conditions, the pitch you're in. All these little things also affect you as a player when you're looking at the match.
We had that afternoon sun earlier in the first half, but that's pretty much gone, of course, as the sun starts to set. Pretty much have the shade already over the turf of the Rizal Memorial Stadium.
And quite a good turnout of people here as well.
Nobiraki tried to drive that ball forward. And another chance on the counter. And it looks like Chong is playing in quite a central role. He is that left striker dun sa kanilang 3-4-3.
It's been quite the experiment for the Azkals development team, of course, coaching staff led by Coach Arvin Soliman, Stefan Schrock, a very active role from the technical area.
Let's also not forget about Coach Giovanni.
Yes,
Gracia,
of course. And even Ed Sacapaño, the former Azkal shot stopper himself.
Of course, they picked up a bronze medal back in the AFC Challenge Cup in 2012. Coach Eds himself was the man who played in that third place game as Neil Etheridge was out due to suspension. Wentz picks this one up. We'll give it to Quincy. He made sure to put enough weight on that one. Of course, learning from your experiences. Gallantes beaten though by Giganto. Push that over to Melisa. Daiso playing narrow. Trying to beat his man slowly but surely. Nobody to meet it though. That ball was loose. The ADT backline managed to poke it away. Gallantes hit the deck up against Melisa. No call by the referee, but that went out. It will go to the ADT from the looks of it, but before we resume, we have a substitution. It is Fitch Arboleda who is checking in, and stepping off will be Eric Giganto. And what a shift this guy has had. Giganto off the pitch already. Giganto himself, a testament to consistency. Because when you're looking at the Golden Boot race, puro kaya yung mga players dun. And with his consistency, he just slowly inched his way into that mix. 6 goals to his name in this season. And a great shift manning the midfield for them as he started off on the right wing.
Commendable afternoon for Eric Giganto. Pero ang pumalit naman, it's Fitch Arboleda, likewise capable from his position.
Aldeguer contra Began. Daiso gets inside though. The ADT managed to stay coordinated. Began, but it was put back by Frias.
You've been mentioning Milad's name quite some time now recently, but I think if anything, one thing Kaya has not done in this match is to involve him at least on the offensive half of things. which has been the case in their past few wins against Mindiola, against Maharlika.
And when we looked at that Maharlika game, we had Milad, of course, get a number of chances to put one into the back of the net. Yan na lang kulang sa kanya in that game. We could say he was manning the midfield, but a close one here. Just taken though by Banzon. I actually think that came off or rattled off Simone Rota. It could have been an utter
own goal, yes.
disaster. Sure that happened, but
Could have been the equalizer, but not the way you want to level things again. And Rota, he just apologized to Zach Banzo. It was my bad. Had a poor touch on it, on the cross. Buti na lang, Banzon was in the middle of that, in between the sticks.
and it's one of those moments, of course, other than the goal that we had to call up Banzon to action, because it's mainly been, of course, Kaya working their way in the attacking end. They didn't really have to get Banzon involved when building up from the back. That's how they've been pretty much commanding in this game. Gayoso tried to get it to Melisa, but Muenz got it, but it's back with Quincy. He has to get this out quickly. Diano did well to connect with Arboleda. You have that University of the East connection. Quincy seeming to be the favored person in that situation already. But of course, if you're Arboleda, you want to make that charge and make it difficult.
The great decision as well by Quincy, just to come forward and not risk anything.
So play will be resumed. Actually, when you look at that roster of Kaya, they do have a great number of homegrown stars. They played their collegiate football here. They're now in the big league. This ball was skied. Buga secured it for the moment, but he's got a charging Daizo. Daizo storming down, just a cut above the rest. Gets through to the middle. Took the fall though. It was that team effort that stopped him. Daizo tried to take it up on his own.
Well, if there's been something positive for the ADTs, that anytime a Kaya player has the ball in their attacking third, they make it a habit to collapse on him, perhaps throw 2 or 3 bodies within the distance, just to, of course, negate the attacking opportunity. And that's been quite a splendid aspect of the ADT's game again, although they are down 1 goal as it stands.
So Muenz managed to get his boot to that, and it's now with BS. Frias, the ball forward, Aldeguer, but this one well skied. Looks like he was trying to do a carbon copy of the first half.
Aldeguer, he just found himself with lots of room, lots of space. Look at that. Well, from behind Simone Rota, doing perhaps just enough to make Aldeguer decide to strike a strong one way out, way above the bar.
That window, of course, is always going to be small because you have the defense clamping down on you, and what more, it's Simone Rota. Rota, of course, has been playing his football in the Philippines for over a decade already. He made his debut for the Azkals back in 2014. That was up against Malaysia. It was a goalless draw. Arboleda secured this, blowing past Galiantes. Eric desperately trying to get back into this one. So it's taken over to the corner. Now under dispute.
Terrific effort by the ADT. I thought Galiantes during that time taking fully utilizing yung shoulder against shoulder no call rule.
Barsanilla actually put in a great effort there to put his body on the line.
Tremendous stand from the ADT, just preventing another chance for Kaya, and they win possession back. Have to take advantage of these opportunities now.
So you have a defensive free kick in this situation. Camera trying to drive his teammates forward. We can see the body language of Coach Stefan Track. He's just extending his hands out. I'm pretty much saying they could have done better out of that. Parang sayang yung opportunity na yan.
And after winning the possession, you would want to be more patient and execute what you have in mind. And definitely the frustration on the part of Shraki lumabas doon sa kanyang reaction.
So this ball will bounce around and off. And when it was back with Banzon, it did take a couple of bounces too. Tough to read. Banzon showing us that he's also good with his feet. Zach Banzon with AFC Champions League experience too with Kaya. In that tournament, he pretty much took over the goalkeeping duties in the second round of games, but Gayoso's touch letting him down.
The flag stayed down on that occasion. Perhaps something bothered Gayoso. It was just one against one. He was a few steps ahead. But credit to Barsanilla, again, not giving up on the play.
So this will be resumed with an ADT goal kick that was taken short. Barsanilla, he is starting in that center back role for them. And it's nice to see the depth, of course. When we talk about ADT, they're missing some players. They have that next man up mentality. Gayoso gets this one though, but there was a slide from Sacopon, one of the subs who came into this game.
Player number 18. Jamie Sacopon, and again, ADT, you love what their backline has done so far. Offensively, they'll have to string together quite some more spot-on passes. And for now, again, Kaya trying to add on to this advantage that they have.
So setters try to make it difficult for them for but Begandom's here. Casambre, it was headed out though by Galiantes. Bias. He has 3 men to beat though. They're trying to push him out wide. Kept it in but ran into the path of Diano, but Chung got it. You need that, of course, from your kuyas in the ADT in difficult situations. Bugas. Muens. He was clamped down, but it's back with Cholo Bugas. Galiantes. As expected, it's with Bias. But it is gifted though to Melisa, and they will play this long, trying to hit Gayoso. Bugas trying to control this one up against Casambre. This ping-pongs around. And there is a foul with a man down for Kaya, as it is Daizo. Bugas sending his apologies. He's holding on, or we saw him hold on to his shin. Here's what developed in the replay.
Bugas perhaps ducking down after the scramble for possession. And from his behind, again, Daizo was there. Yellow card given. So Bugas, as kind as he is as an athlete, as a person, as we know him, well, for now he's going to get booked. Has to be careful. But I think from that previous sequence, you can say a bit more patience from the ADT. They have to build on from that. Just how to execute. The ball's been in the midfield quite some time. Now the next challenge is to try to send it to the attacking third and get some of your other forwards involved.
Looks like we're seeing some blood too on the right forearm of Daizo. Looks like that is from the collision, or may have been a studs up collision, as Bugas was simply trying to go for the ball. Daiso was also being inspected by the linesman. Of course, in a situation like that, you do have to make sure that is patched up, of course, for everyone's safety. As Rota will put this back into play. It's not able to meet Arboleda, though.
It's protocol in any sport for that matter. Down to 10 men momentarily itong Kaya. See if ADT can take charge.
So should ADT falter in this game, they will still remain in fourth, though. They have that cushion with Stallion Laguna behind them. If Kaya, though, hold on at least and maintain this scoreline, they continue to grab hold of first place as they lead the way right now in terms of the title, in terms of title hopes.
And not only that, they will extend the margin between total points, them and Dynamic Herb Cebu FC, which is of course running in second place so far. And goal difference as well. As you mentioned, they've conceded the least, they've scored the most, and it's very crucial in your league table should there be some complications. But so far, of course, they're still in command, in control. And as we approach the 70th minute, Claro, you know, Dynamic Herb Cebu FC, we've seen some of their players. They're actually here in attendance, just watching a good quality football match ahead of their own schedule tomorrow.
Also, when we talk about Cebu, they have their game tomorrow against Maharlika.
That will be at the McKinley Hill Stadium. It'll be the first time professional football is going to return to that venue in the city of Taguig.
And that will be great, of course. The community, no stranger to that place, but it will be a first for the Philippines Football League as Bias tries to work his way through. Connecting with Muens. Kaya making it tough for them to get through. This over the top. Not a problem for Banzon. Keeps it off his gloves. He'll try to burn some time too off the clock. So they'll put this back into play. Menzi. Arboleda did well to that. For a moment, I thought that was still in play as Diano got to handle it. Pero sabi ng linesman, it went past the touchline already as Nano Amita will check in. Stepping off is Milad Begandom.
You saw Nano on the bottom of your screens a couple of seconds earlier. Now he's going to be part of the action. Just perhaps Coach Yu Hoshide injecting some more energy towards the final few moments of the second half. And again, nothing against Milad Begandom, but perhaps wasn't that much involved, at least by his own standards for this game in particular. Has to go back to the drawing board. Nevertheless, of course,
Gayoso gets this and tries to pounce on the error of Barsanilia. As the center back is down, Meliton Pelayo with his card out and gives it to Barsanilia while he's being stretched out for cramps. Looks like he pulled his muscle while trying to make up for that effort or error committed against Harvey Gayoso.
double black eye there on the part of Barsanilia. Gets booked for a yellow card, and of course conceding that foul. It's going to be a set piece for Kaya eventually after he gets his treatment.
Nagka-foul. Tapos may cramps na. May yellow pa. Quite a tough stretch here for the youngster. And sadly, from the looks of it, he will have to end his shift after 71 minutes. You know, in a situation like that, yes, you are down, but you do want to see the full 90. He could use up all the experience, of course.
In a dangerous position this is for Kaya once everything is settled.
And it's sad to see, of course, he will not be able to resume this game. And it looks like there's some blood also on his kneecap that has gotten down onto his sock. And it's really... But it looks like it's the right leg of Barsanilla that also had to be stretched. So we hope that he is fine. Then we have another change for ADT. Check that. This is the change to sub of Barsanilla. It is Naughty Nunez coming in, age 18. He already has an appearance for the Azkals, the senior national team.
During the AFF Mitsubishi Electric Cup at this very venue.
That was great to see, of course. As Melissa will put this back in. Aldeguer helping out with duties, of course. He has the height. Of course, it's a team effort. Talk about your first touch in the game once you check in. Bias. Banzon was called to action, though, and had to clear that.
Bias for a moment trying to outrun the opposing defender. But Banzon gets in the way.
Wentz was unable to beat Amita with Aldeguer, but it was pushed over. Connecting with Daizo. Here they are on the further end. But it looks like Setters repelled that, but he has to stop the reset. Nano. Slowly inching in. Setters managed to poke that away. Setters, one of the substitutes who entered in this game.
Player number 20 for the ADT. He is listed as a defender here.
He is a center back in that 3-4-3 formation of theirs.
And obviously just making sure Nano does not get the upper hand during that sequence.
Casambre up against Setters again. Looks like they'll try to get through the left wing. Gayoso trying to join the mix and get it out. It stays with Kaya, though, to the frustration of some members of the ADT making their frustration known.
And I like what you said about the frustration part of ADT because they have been trying Daizo Horikoshi.
Of course, Kaya getting their first goal off a corner. Will it be another one? It's outside of the box, though. Bias trying to get through. Hitting the afterburners. Got past one, but couldn't make it to with Rota there. Amita will try to inject life. Muens, though, trying to cause all sorts of mayhem for them. Same could be said for Bugas. But Kaya with the lead, so there is that luxury.
What an effort by Rota. Calculated risk to slide and eliminate that ball. And win possession back. Just 15 minutes and change, Claro. You mentioned they have the luxury here to perhaps be more patient and let the clock just wind down. Let's see how this final stretch of the second half unfolds.
And when we spoke about Rota, only 38 years young, mind you. An ageless performance from him.
He has seen action for the Philippine Azkals countless times, several times, in every level.
So that's a call in favor of the youngsters in the ADT. So Setters will put this back in. Muens. And with the way they had to adjust because you lost your starting center back in Barsanilla, it actually looks like Justin Frias slid down to that center back role. And that center mid pairing now is Muens and Nunez. Grabe yung depth dun sa center midfield. Para sa ADT, they push it out wide. Bias again. How will they get back into this one? Galiantes. Muensdo got clipped by Gayoso. So here's how that foul was warranted.
Well, Gayoso coming from the right side to try and disrupt. So nga lang, hindi bola ang nahagip niya doon. And the positive thing about the ADT is that they're still young. Some of them are perhaps playing out of their natural position. But again, the game has evolved so much.
Bias floats this in though. Daiso got it off the Kaya clearance. Amita now hits the afterburners. Now it's off to Horikoshi, the Japanese speedster. Shimid Bias. Arboleda takes it, took a deflection, but Camerad's there. Always a tough one with the deflection. Things, of course, can just end up in disaster because you're going one way, you read the shot, but the deflection just alters the direction of the ball.
And great thing for Camerad, he was still within the area, the path of that ball. Last minute recovery for the ADT defense, falling back at the last minute.
Daiso threw this forward, it's in the box. Gayoso, Camerad got himself in front of it though. Close one, but this time around it's Frias having to stretch himself out. He'll try to soldier on.
You have to commend the effort of Camerad. Again, just knowing what to do. And let's be honest, obviously these players from the ADT, they want a slot for the SEA Games roster. Let's not forget about that. So in a way, they're auditioning for it. They're also trying their best to showcase that they're worthy.
Nano Amita was clipped low in that process. And look at how he's really injected so much life in this game.
But look at Bugas, just coming out of nowhere, entering the picture.
Cholo Bugas not afraid. Of course, we can say his kuya in Paulo was the teammate of Nano Amita back in college. Walang takot dun. Arboleda shook off Galiantes. But Camerad got that ball, managed to pick it out. And when we talk about the Amita family, they're quite the footballing group, we could say too. Nano with younger siblings, we could say. He has his sister Analu was with the women's team in Kaya Iloilo. And then there's his brother Ace in FEU. Nag-aaral pa rin. Tapos sabi ni Nano, may isa pa, yung bunso. Nag-aaral pa sa high school in FEU.
Well, speaking of FEU, their high school boys team winning the title sa ating UAAP season 85.
As that Sakopon effort was repelled, and we have a double substitution for the Azkals development team. We have Lance Luxin coming on, and we've got Charles Pickering. They did confirm right before the game that he is on loan with the Azkals development team from his mother club, Stallion. Earlier in the season, Pickering himself, of course, played against that ADT side where Stefan Schrock was still playing.
Oh, we saw the capabilities of Pickering, so he deserves this one.
And Nunez gets decked, no call by the referee. The Azkals development team calling for a penalty. He continues to be down, but over with Kaya. They look to pounce on the counter. Amita. Daiso takes it. Denied though by Camerad. Such heroics. But these guys have to be fuming with that non-call on the other end in the previous play.
We'll see it right here inside the box. Perhaps a trip in contention from Gayoso, and then from the counter attack as play goes on, Daiso tries to volley one in. Tremendous save by Camerad. Play goes on, and most of the ADT players were already in confusion.
And we see Coach Giovanni and Coach Rocky on the sideline making it known, or making their frustration known to fourth official Rodney Leble over that non-call. And as we speak, Nunez continues to be down. And let's see if we could get another look at that play for the viewers. But that was also a nasty fall. Gayoso was simply trying to challenge. I think we can establish that. But here's another look. Harvey is going for the ball. But Nunez was also, of course, had the same agenda. Hence, we had that collision. No ill intentions from the striker.
Well, from that angle, as we see Harry Nunez, it's good to see him back up on his feet. But I believe Gayoso, let's look at it one more time. So Gayoso was trying to approach the ball. Was it his left thigh or left leg that caught Nunez in the process? It's really tough to tell from that angle and in real time just how the play unfolded.
I think we could still say yes, he was also going for the ball, but with your outstretched leg and trying to go for the tackle, that could potentially have been a call. But play resumed now. This takes some air in the goalkeeper box. This still ping pongs around Diano. Hit it out to Melisa. They'll reset. But it's no good though. Odi Menzi was trying to go for his second goal of the afternoon.
So we see it. Janjan Melisa delivers that cross intended for Menzi, but again, the defense for ADT present. And I think Harry Nunez is back inside the pitch. Definitely a good sign.
But it's been Kaya trying to apply the pressure, trying to make ADT crack, and they'd love to get goal number 3 for them. So it's Harvey Gayoso and Odi Menzi on the score sheet for the men in black. And it is Andres Aldeguer for ADT, but he's been subbed off.
And that's the beauty about Kaya FC-Iloilo's depth. It's just every match, you don't know who's going to score because everyone has the capability to finish. Now it's just less than 5 minutes and change for the ADT to try and sneak an equalizer here, but from the looks of it, Kaya can afford to breathe a little bit.
Dennis Chung. And I think that was poked away by Diano. So it returns to the home side.
And as we continue to wind the clock down here, I think a couple of substitutes are trying to make their way in for Kaya.
The play is stopped though because that was a foul throw by Rick Galiantes. His motion seemed to be quite awkward in that situation. But before we resume play, we got the veterans of Kaya coming back on. We have Marvin Angeles and Jovin Bedic. Bedic, of course, also puts his middle name on the jersey to acknowledge his mother's side of the family. Bedic himself hails from Barotac, Nuevo Iloilo, the hotbed or spiritual home of Philippine football. We also have Marvin Angeles, a long-time orchestrator in that midfield of theirs. He had a stint in Indonesia where he got to impress as Jovin makes that instant impact. Jovin, of course, the captain of Kaya, but it looks like it will stay with Banzon in this game as Banzon started off this match.
Not wasting any time in that particular play was Jovin Bedic. We know that he also has a penchant for distributing and just looking for the opening for his teammates. Such an unselfish player this guy is.
Joven, normally that forward of theirs, he has that ability to hold the play and, simple as this, what you said, distribute. And what more, of course, we know that he can find the back of the net. No, but possession will stay with the ADT. But when we talk about Joven Bidik, of course, he just checked into this game. Quite some depth with Kaya. When your captain's not starting, the others, of course, still get to show that quality. Wins back to Camarade. Amita. Rota. Daizo. This ball will ping pong around and it's eventually into the boots of the Japanese winger. That Daizo ball though was denied by setters. Chung didn't get a great touch to that. And by coincidence, because of Chung's less ideal, not so ideal touch, it went into the hand of Nobiraki. Handball, as stated in the rules.
Sometimes you're lucky, but again, if you're ADT, you're slowly running out of time here. Kaya has done an exceptional job controlling possession here.
Yeah, but as we speak now, they're getting this foray forward, Nunez. And we are glad that he gets to resume this game or get back into this game.
Definitely, makakasama pa natin siya with the Azkals in the next years to come.
Chung contra Angeles. We have a man down for Kaya. It appears to be Daizo, I believe. But he's eventually up. They'll set this one back. Pickering. Looks like Pickering has been forced to become that makeshift center back for them. He really is a striker as BS drives this diagonal ball. The header, though, was off from when we saw Chung meet that.
One of the best possessions they've had in the second half. Talking about ADT. And they came close that time around. You mentioned the cross. As we see on your screens, 4 minutes of additional time, owing to, of course, some of the stoppages throughout the half. So 4 extra minutes for the ADT to try and come up with an equalizer to split the points. But again, if you're Kaya, you have a way of just trying to manage the time to secure the full 3 points.
So after yielding the lead to Kaya, it has been that slow burn for ADT in trying to claw back into this one. Searching and searching, but to no avail. They did have difficulties, of course, containing the league leaders. Daizo connecting with Joven. There's Nunez. Sent it back to Daizo, though. Amita. Trying to use his trickery. There is a foul there, but it is played quickly. The ball was still in transit as that quick free kick was taken. That is why there is a whistle that will need to be retaken, as we've got Dylan Nobiraki having a word with referee Meliton Pelayo. So buckle up, everybody. Let's see how this one will finish. Bias cutting in. But it's no good for them. Loxin had that unsuccessful run in the midfield for them. Nobiraki from Amita. Arboleda. Nano. Up against Pickering. Nano just trying to be a pest with the way he's very shifty. Angeles. Up against Muenz. We see Angeles with his leg taped up, but it seems he's recovered. Bias, though, took a fall after getting tugged by Noberaki, and he gets booked. Hori Menzi and Lance Locsin getting some second motion there.
It's getting quite feisty here inside the Rizal Memorial Stadium. You see that challenge earlier against Bias. And then some extra motion on the part of Menzi.
And we have another one right here with Bias set to take the free kick. And then you have Arboleda literally getting in front of him.
Well, at this time, you know Kaya's just trying to get into their heads.
What more? Burn some time off the clock too. We have a little over a minute left until we reach the 4th minute of added time.
Not the finest of deliveries that time from Bias. And again, ADT just desperate to seek that equalizer. Trying to split the points here.
Parang mission accomplished pa rin yung ginawa nila Arboleda at Amita. Yung pagkagulang. And that's how Kaya have been imposing themselves in this game. The physique and all those battles. Quincy off his line though. Nano with the open goal. Just the defenders to beat. There you have it. Nail in the coffin. 3-1. Nano Amita getting a piggyback from Arboleda. Great goal. Calm and composed.
Wow. Alam mo, Clara, I'm more surprised with the celebration of choice. Mala Titanic yun. And now he's meditating. Well, what a run that was. And again, Quincy Camerad, not the way you want to take that play. We'll see that on the replay. Nano Amita makes his run. And then Quincy Camerad using his right leg to try and deflect. I wonder what he had in mind.
Looked like Pickering was out of position already from the get-go, so there was no choice from the keeper and having to get out. But in turn, the goal was left exposed. So ADT caught on the break. And with the celebration, let's make that a candidate for celebration of the season. If we could rank them.
Kaya double their lead. Mission accomplished here. Like what you mentioned, they will pick up the full 3 points. And that's it, Claro.
The full-time whistle, it is 3-1 for Kaya, the league leaders. They continue to impose themselves right here. Andres Aldeguer opened it for us with the ADT taking the lead. But Ori Menzi, their center back, put themselves back into the game. Harvey Gayoso gave Kaya the lead. But Nano Amita iced this game for them. They full 3 points. They now move up to 42 in the tally. When you look at the table, 11 points clear of Cebu. Cebu play tomorrow against Maharlika. So in a situation like that, your back is against the wall. So it's a must win if you're trying to chase Kaya when you are the rest of the pack. But what a game. Levi, talk us through this one.
If you're the Azkals development team, first 10 minutes was a dream start for you. You had the 1-0 advantage. But again, knowing the capability of the league leaders, Kaya FC-Iloilo, you know that at some point they will bounce back.
So pictured right there, as you see, is our player of the game in Ori Menzi. What a performance from him. Unfortunately, they did not get the clean sheet, but what does he do? Gets them back with Kaya's first goal of the game. Talk us through his performance.
Ori Menzi, player number 44, the defender for Kaya. The first goal of Kaya to equalize, and it just went from there. As you see on your screens, Odi Menzi. And then, of course, in the second half, Harvey Gayoso and Nano Amita finishing the job for them. But again, it's just the test of character and composure here for Kaya. And they showed, being the Kuyas of the Azkals development team, that they had more maturity. They did not really flounder even if they gave up a 1-0 advantage or disadvantage. What a match it was.
So we look at the highlights right here, and action aplenty even before we found the back of the net in this game, but let's see it right here.
Such a busy first few minutes for Quincy Camerad. And like what we mentioned, if you have been following the game, ADT struck first, courtesy of player number 9, Andres Aldeguer, on a terrific assist on the cutback by Pocholo Bugas. From there, it was ADT on a high. We thought that they would control the match, but Kaya is Kaya, plain and simple. They had their ways to fight back, and they poured 3 goals in the next 80 minutes.
And when we talk about it, Kaya, yes, they have yet to concede a goal heading into this one in the past 3 games or 270 minutes. And unfortunately, that hot streak for their defense has ended. But of course, they stay true to themselves and fought their way back, inching closer and closer to the league title, and potentially representing the Philippines again, mind you, in the AFC Champions League. Corner kicks were aplenty for them in this one, and by coincidence, I don't think so. Audi Menzi did get the opener, courtesy of Daizo Horikoshi's delivery, and Daizo, there we saw, that is assist number and lucky 13 in this campaign.
We just felt that from the complexion of the game. They were deserving to convert something from their set pieces because they've had a lot of those possessions where they just earned corner kicks from themselves. And then from there, of course, the ADT had this, particularly this one.
As we saw one of the plays right there. But again, when we talk about it with Kaya, of course, props to them. They came out guns blazing to continue to help the youth national team in ADT prepare for the Southeast Asian Games. As we see Harvey Gayoso. This was his effort, where it was goal number 2 and the lead for them. And right after that moment, there was no looking back for them.
And after this second goal from Harvey, which was just terrific technical skill and speed, we just saw how Kaya dominated that second half en route to winning another match and adding on to their point total in the league.
And we take a look at the stats. Simple as this, numbers do not lie in this situation right here.
And the Azkals development team, again, you have to give them credit because they controlled the game in terms of possession. They also created chances for themselves. But Kaya, in terms of the volume of shots and the corners that they got, at some point you felt that they were bound to win this match, and that's what they exactly did.
Of course, taking full advantage of their veteran wits and experience. But ADT, again, we like what we're seeing. I think we can get that straight, of course. Yes, there are points for them to improve on, but at the end of the day, these are youngsters. There are still teenagers in this team. And the fact that you have that great mindset, square off against full-grown people already, I think that's great. And hopefully they just continue to carry on, of course, as they prepare for what's next. And that does it for this coverage of the Philippines Football League. It is the Kaya FC-Iloilo 3, the ADT 1. In behalf of Levi Verora, this is Claro Manzano on call for this match and signing off in behalf of the entire broadcast team. Thank you very much, and we'll catch you soon, everybody.